Hello, everyone. So welcome to second video for the feature which we are discussing, named as intercompany cross charge. In the first video, we discussed a business case, and now let's proceed from there. So there are a few setup which we must do before we start using this feature. First setup is now, as we said that we have a central training department. So within the organization, we know that in UK ledger, there will be cross charge for US ledger, right? We know this. So we have to create a agreement. That agreement is internal agreement between UK and US. Now, where we are going to say that we are expecting this kind of cross charge, this kind of cross charging between the two entities, one for the training, another for the accommodation. Okay. So I think a year before a new feature came in intercompany module that is called multi-tier agreement. Let me just go there instead of coming directly here. So the agreement, first we need to make the agreement that US and UK has this kind of agreement of cross charging. So for that, I've already defined it. So I will just go through it. So for that, what do we need to do? We need to go to the intercompany accounting and multi intercompany operation. The moment we come here, okay. So here I have already created the agreement. If you want to create new agreement, click on the create button and do that. So I will have two agreements. So I have already defined it. So let me just show the agreement. Name you can see I have just given UK to US. Similarly, I have created another one, UK to US. This one is for training. I'm sorry, I did not put the uh, additional character here to separate it like accommodation. It should have a NAS, UK, US and accommodation, but okay, that's a name. So let me just show first. Let me open the agreement what I have made here. So we have made an agreement. Uh, what kind of transaction, intercompany transaction type this agreement will be using, that I need to show it here. Moreover, before doing this, there's another setup. Let me just go there first. We need to define a intercompany transaction type which is enabled for multi-tier. So this is what I have done here. So we need to enable the multi-tier checkbox, and other things like whether it requires invoicing or not, those remain same. So I'm just showing the our flow what I'm going to show. We will be doing the invoicing as well. So this is one of the setup which we need to perform. Once we have done that, attach the transaction type here to the respective agreement what we are making. Fill in other details which is related to the agreement. And this agreement is same which we create for the multi-tier intercompany agreement. The only difference what is here is that in case of multi-tier agreement, we do provide there are multiple clearing organization, like first clearing organization, second clearing organization. But the business case, what we have shown you is direct from UK to US. So there will not be any clearing organization here. There will be provider organization and there will be receiver organization. So this is what the setup which we need to do. So this is for training. Why do we need to do this? I will explain you during the transaction. Let me reopen this. So we have these two uh, agreement. Difference between these two is the transaction type. Here, there was one transaction type, this one, IC chargeback training. Here, I have another transaction type, IC chargeback. That is the only difference. Rest things are same like provider and the receiver organization as per the business case what we have discussed. Okay? Now, as we discussed, so that's the setup part. Other setups related to intercompany remain same, like intercompany balancing rule and all these things. It will be used the seeded one, okay? Seeded setup, what we do for the intercompany. Now let us come to the transaction part. So assume that the supplier has sent an invoice for these two. Let us flow with the business flow, what we discussed last time. So in application, we are going to, in UK organization, we are going to define we are going to create the invoice. So I have already created the invoice. I will show you that invoice. So let me go to payables. And okay, so I have already created the invoice. Let me just query that invoice. So the training vendor, what we have, they sent me an invoice, this one. I already created the invoice as per the amount which we discussed last time, 20,000 and 30,000. So I have created two lines, one for accommodation, one for training. The clearing account I have given same. You can opt for different accounts as well if you want, but the natural account I have kept it same. You can have another account. So this is generic so far. Now, what is the additional thing what we need to do so that the multi-tier, so that the intercompany cross charts should work? In this invoice, we are going to we are going to enable this checkbox. So enable this checkbox, save it, validate, then post to ledger. So if you see here, this invoice is created in UK business unit. Done. Once we do this, go to the intercompany agreement page and go to document preparation. Now here, it will pull all the invoices. You can see all the invoices which are related to intercompany cross charge. System will pull here automatically. You can query the invoices by different filters, like let me put not started one and document date. Let me put as 10th of September. It was for today, if I'm not wrong. Let me check. It is 10th of September. So let me pull only for 10th of September so that I can reduce the number of documents shown here. Now see, this invoice is pulled here. There were two lines, so two line hand curve here. If you want, you can click here and you can see the details of the invoice. So it is like this. Invoice is created. Now the intercompany color, intercompany person who handles this kind of this thing, this will start appearing. All the invoices will start appearing here. That person will go and check this invoice from here. Okay, they will check and try to understand. Okay, this line is related to what kind of. So this line, they will see the detail and they should be able to make out that this particular, just give me a moment, let me adjust my window. Okay, I'm not finding the cancel build part here. Let me reduce the size. Okay, no problem. Let me go back. So the person can come, the intercompany person can come and see the all the intercompany cross-charge invoices which are in there in system and which is to be processed or under process, whatever. So let me just re-query the thing here. Not started. And the document date, let me put the filter. So the next part, next step, what the person has to do, the person has to identify this particular line belongs to which agreement, right? So this is for, assume this line, first line was for, I don't remember that, I can check it. Assume that was for training. Then user has to go here and select the respective agreement. So I will select the agreement here. So let me select, this is for accommodation. Just assume that was for that. I don't remember right now, but assume. And this line is for training. So if you remember, we created these two agreements. So the intercompany person will be able to know that this particular payable invoice, which is of intercompany cross charge, belongs to what kind of agreement which we have internally. They will select, it will automatically say who is the provider, who is the receiver, and so on and so forth. Save this. So that's the first step. Next, I've already added the agreement. So we will say now it's ready for further processing. So status is changed as ready. So it went up from the queue. Again, I say mark as ready. So now let us requery here. Ready. So now it's showing me these are the two intercompany cross charge line which has come. One is related to the agreement of accommodation, another is related to the agreement of training. The intercompany person will know this. So next step, create transfer authorization. Now means now the intercompany transaction should be created. So that's the next step. I will do the same for the second one. Okay. Again, let us requery this. It must be in complete status now. Yeah. Okay. If you want to see the further details, you can click on this link and you can see the details here. So this has come from payables. It was accommodation type. Okay, luckily I selected the right agreement, accommodation. And what was the account entered in payable invoice? All these details you can see here. Okay. You can see by clicking here, you can see some detail here also. Now, after putting what is the respective intercompany agreement, that you can see here. This is the agreement. Transfer authorization, if it is created, then you can see it here. So we created the transfer authorization, so all these are, you can see it here. Similarly, you can do for the another line as well. Now, after doing this, we have to do the further processing. For that, we need to go here in the agreement. And we have to, so the new transfer authorization, what we created is appearing here now, 30,000 of the training cost. This is the new status. Open this. Now it cannot create the intercompany receivable or payable, particular receivable. Why? Because right now we gave only this account. System does not know the actual expense to which it has to go. So that actual expense account we need to give it here. That's why it is not processed. So click here, edit. No, sorry, I think we have to, okay, click here. Then first we have to create the click on continue. Now this is the transaction number. Here we need to provide the expense account. So provider organization account, it has come from payables, the invoice which we created. Now receiver organization account, it does not know. So the intercompany person will be knowing that this should, because he or she has access to both the ledgers, right? So he or she will be knowing that which expense account it should go for. So select an expense account. Let me just let me just select any expense account here. I just select it. Apply. This complete look and feel of, I think, Redwood. So expense account I entered. Now this transaction is complete. I click on save. So the first line I created the first intercompany, I created the expense. I gave the expense account. Now further here, click on continue. It will go for approval. Again, it's simply same place approval is there. I'm not very sure we can create a BPM approval. I'm not very sure about it, but since approval has come here, I will just click approve. Then status become approved. Then click on continue. Now this will create a receivable transaction. It should create a receivable transaction. Say got it. It should have created. Now let us go back and refresh it. You can see here, status becomes sent to receivable. So let us see. We will get the receivable transaction there. So this is the accounting entry which will be generated in both the ledgers. You can see. So this balancing line in UK ledger, this is the balancing line. This is the intercompany receivable account which has come from intercompany balancing rule setup. And this is the clearing account which we entered in the invoices, in the payable invoice. Okay. And this is for the US ledger. This is the account which we entered just now to complete the transaction. And this is the intercompany payable line, which we automatically generated based on the intercompany balancing rule. Click on continue. Now see here, we saw that it has created an intercompany receivable invoice. Okay. Once it is created, we will go and see this in AR module as well. But let me just, once it is done, we can generate the payable invoice from here. If you see the intercompany module there, we have to run another process, but everything is in this particular feature, it is here only. So we can create on the generate button. Now let us requery. It must have created the payable invoice now. Let us see. Okay. So it is yet to create the payable invoice. So this is 28065. This is the invoice number for the receivable invoice. Same invoice number will be for the payable. So this we did for one line. Similarly, we have to do for the another line. So I will not go through the complete process once again. The same step we have to do for the another line. So as I said, there will be two invoices. One this one, and then another one this one. So one we created, I think 30,000 we already created. So let us see that invoice in application. The AR invoice, okay. So let me go to AR module. Let us query the invoice, which I just copied from there, 28065. So this is the invoice which is created from intercompany module. We can see the distributions. It will have the same distribution which we just saw. So, I think few distributions. Intercompany supplier and intercompany customer all of the derivation remains same as any other intercompany transaction. So this is the receivable intercompany receivable line, and this is the intercompany. This is the clearing account which we entered during creating the payable invoice for the vendor, the trailing vendor. This is the clearing line if you see here. If I can show the description, expense clearing. Okay. So this is what we have the AR invoice. I think by now AP invoice must have been created. Let us see. The AP invoice number will be same. I hope it must have been created by now. So let us directly query the invoice. Or we can first refresh and check it here. Is it created or not? So let us go here. Now it shows status is complete. Earlier it was showing sent to receivable. So I think the payable invoice is created now. Yeah, so payable invoice is also created, same number. Now we can go to the payable module. And we can check the invoice number. So this has come. There is additional tax into it as per the rules. So tax, additional amount of the tax is got created here. That's why you can see the additional amount 3270. Now, if you see the expense account, this is the expense account which we had created, which we have entered during when we were traversing through this particular. This is the same account. If I'm not, I can show if it is possible. See, this is the same account which we entered. Same account came in the payments. Okay, so now I'm not showing the other line which we have for the accommodation will follow the same path. I'm not going to show that. Let us recap what all we did in application. So we created a supplier invoice. Then we saw the steps which we need to perform to pull this invoice into intercompany module, then create the receivable invoice, then create the payable invoice. So this is the business case which we discussed initially, and same thing we did in application. I hope this is useful. So thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.